So I want to discuss a really important topic, something that every single player is going to face at one time or another. And it's really critical to your career that you know how to approach these situations. And that is how to play against players who are better than you. Players that fundamentally are better than you and have a better track record, might be more experienced, and you know going into that game that like this is a big matchup for you. How do you approach these situations? A lot of players that I'm seeing do one of two things. They either posture and try to prop themselves up and talk themselves up in their mind and like look bigger than they actually are, or they are subservient and they sort of submit to the greatness of this person that they're going up against, and they try to like get that person to like them through being very subservient. And neither of these approaches is the right way, and I'm going to share exactly what to do here. So late in my career, this was post high school, just before I went into college and got hurt, I was playing with a semi-pro team, and this happened to be a really good team at the time. There was like 11 guys who had played overseas in Europe, and it was just like they were all older than me. I was by far the youngest guy on the team. And my first game with that team, I was so nervous. And so, in warm-ups, I just wanted to, not get in anybody's way, pass the ball to everybody, not force my hand or take too many shots or be too assertive. I didn't want to talk too loud. And I was just very, very nervous and kind of not wanting to ruffle any feathers, right? This game, I still remember one of the first plays of the game. I got an open break. I came off the bench, of course, but I ended up, when I got into the game, getting an open breakaway. And what I thought was a wide open layup, I ended up getting, from out of nowhere, pinned against the glass by a 7-footer and ended up crumpled in a heap against the wall, and was just like, oh wow, welcome to high-level basketball. And again, these are all professional level players, so I'm just kind of out of my element. The best players I've ever played with or against at this point. So during that first game, I think I had maybe a basket or I don't know what I had, honestly, like 5 points or 2 points or something like that. I can't remember. It wasn't a good game. And ended the game on the bench, didn't play all that well. And I remember leaving after that game thinking like, oh, I was too nice. I was being way too nice. I could have asserted myself more. There were opportunities I had that I didn't take because I didn't want to get in anybody's way. And so the following week, we had another game, and I came back, and because I had had that experience already, I was a little bit more comfortable, and I came in and I scored 16 points. I came off the bench and ended the game on the floor. I ended up hitting a really big shot down the stretch to put us ahead, and we ended up winning the game, and I was like one of the better players on the floor that game. That game was a completely different approach that I took. I didn't try to posture as one of the best players, and I didn't even have that option because I'd played so poorly the previous game, but I also didn't back down from anybody. When I had a shot, I took it. When I had a good matchup, I took advantage of it. I asserted myself on defense. I played aggressively. I was there to be a contributor. I was not backing down. And this ultimately, if you study any of the great players, like Kobe Bryant early on in his career did this with every great player he came up against. I remember him talking about it and watching this game actually, like early on, his first time ever playing against MJ, Kobe went at him every chance he got. Okay, and he did this actually every time that they played for that first couple years of Kobe's career when Jordan was still playing. Kobe went at him, and MJ got the best of him a whole bunch of times, but Kobe was right back there on the next play. And what Kobe said, and what Jordan actually said as well, is that because Kobe didn't back down and he wasn't shying away, he wasn't afraid, he wasn't like getting in MJ's face and being all crazy or anything, but he was right there. He was respectful, but he was assertive and aggressive, actually. He was not the prey, he was the hunter. And because of this, he earned Michael's respect. They went on to have a great friendship, and the rest is history. And the same thing happened with Damian Lillard when he first played against Kobe. This was 2013. Kobe had 49 points that game, but Dame was in his rookie year, came out firing, and I think he had like 37 or 38, hit a bunch of threes. And after the game, there's this priceless moment where one of the analysts or reporters came up to Kobe after the game and asked him about Dame, and Kobe's like, man, he's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid of anything. He's not scared. He's got, and he went on to describe like the aspects of his game that he was impressed with. But that key point is that Kobe said he's not afraid of anything. And what actually inspired this episode is I was listening to a podcast with Damian Lillard and Draymond Green, I believe. And Draymond had asked Dame about the what he thought of the Grizzlies and Ja Morant. And Dame said the exact same thing. He's like, Ja reminds me of me when I was younger. He is not backing down from anyone. There's great players that you match up against, and Ja goes up against, Chris Paul and Steph Curry and Dame, of course, and Kyrie and all of these guys, but he's not backing down. He's not being all crazy, pumping his chest and like getting in their face and pretending like he's greater than he is, but he's also not deflating and pretending like he's not as great as he is. He's not backing down, he's going at them. This is how you get respect from those who matter. If you are afraid to make that better player, or anybody for that matter, upset because you are asserting yourself, you are going to lose their respect. Those who are truly great are going to respect you for being as great as you are, not posturing one way or another, not deflating, not overexpanding, but being solid in what you are and asserting that as firmly and as aggressively as you possibly can, and being as great of a player as you can possibly be, rising to the occasion and not being the prey, but being the hunter. This is how you approach these games, not by backing down ever, okay? Now, I want to reiterate this point, and I've alluded to this so far already, but the really key point here is that we don't go the opposite way. So of course we don't deflate and be smaller than we really are in these situations. We're assertive and aggressive, but we also don't posture and prop ourselves up and try to be like bigger than we actually are, like a peacock showing its feathers or something like that. That's also not the approach we take. That will lose all of the respect from everybody in the gym. And this, as a coach, I see this all the time, like at camps and with interacting with different players. The players that I really get along with actually and form like friendships with later on over time are the players who are solid in who they are. They're not like bowing down to me as the teacher, which some players do, and it honestly makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I'm like, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be too nice to me or like afraid of me or anything like that. Just treat me like a human being, okay? Like show me what you've got. And in a similar vein, it's if there's players who are like too friendly or too assertive, then I also resist that as well. And so whenever you're in a situation with somebody that maybe you're nervous to be around, or a player who's better than you that you're matching up against, or just a situation where you're not quite the alpha, whenever you're in these situations, be firm and assertive in exactly what you are, okay? No backing down, no deflating, and also no posturing to make yourself bigger than you actually are. There are players out there, you could call them like the goody goodies. There's this famous quote from Confucius that goes something to the tune of, the goody goodies are the thieves of virtue. It's those who are trying too hard to be good that actually rob all of the goodness. And it's like those who are too nice because they're afraid of others are not actually nice. They're just afraid. And that's not kindness. True kindness is strong. And to wrap this up, a guy like Damian Lillard, who's been named one of the best teammates in the league, he's very clearly not being too nice to people. He's also not afraid of people. He's just firm and solid in who he is. So this is the approach that you take. The approach of like a young Kobe or a Dame or a Ja, who is not backing down from anyone. You assert yourself as you are. You're not afraid to take blows and to get knocked down by that better player, but you're getting right back up on the next play and meeting them exactly where they are. Okay. okay? So whenever you next match up against somebody like that, this is the approach that you take. And this also, of course, goes for social interactions when you're with people that maybe you're not the alpha in the situation, or you're a little bit nervous around them, or whatever the case may be. This is also the approach you take. You don't back down, not being subservient to that person, but just solid in exactly what you are. All right. So I hope that cleared it up for you, and really take this with you, take it to heart. And I really hope this one helped you out. We all go through these situations as basketball players. We're guaranteed to face guys who are better than us. Otherwise, we're just not taking opportunities when we come. Like as serious practitioners here, you've got to be hunting down these players, to hunt down the best matchups and find the most competitive situations that you can find, and that will include playing against guys who are better than you, hopefully. So take this with you, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, the best thing to do right now while it's fresh in your mind is to head over to deepgame.com and join us in our free masterclass. Now, this is where you'll learn all 8 laws of the deep game and all of the fundamentals that you need to know about the part of basketball that's played with the mind. We've had players call this the best hour of basketball learning of their lives, and it's completely free right now. So head over to deepgame.com to join us, and I will see you there.